Okay, here we have another Gen Con edition 2023 of Hey, my friend made a thing. And we're on the floor. We're
Yeah.
doing some floor time. This is just what we decided to do.
Oh,
And
it's late at night. You know, you can't just be sitting up
Oh,
all time.
yeah, it's late
It's
at-
nap time, man.
I'm not even sure what time it is, so I'm not sure what
It's
day
past
it is.
midnight.
It's past now, so it's actually Sunday. And I'm here with...
Claire Strickland. Dr. Claire Strickland, no
Oh,
less.
shit, Dr. Clair Strickland?
I'm a PhD, baby.
For reals?
Yeah, man. I'm a college professor.
That's rad. I'm here with fucking Dr. Clair Strickland. You're the second doctor I've interviewed. I enjoy this. All right. And we're talking about this thing you do where you shove your phone in people's faces and be like, tell me about your God.
No, it's more specific than that. I say, what is the name of your God?
Which I think is too specific because not everyone has a name for their God.
Oh, sure.
So I'd
I'd
argue about that.
Oh, 100%. You should. My atheist friends do. But the point is that brings out the reaction. It's designed to wrong-foot people and make them actually pause and consider the
Oh,
question.
like, does my God have a name? Do I have a God?
Why have I never thought
Why do
of
you imply
this?
there's only one God? Isn't that a monotheistic centric?
100%. It's supposed to provoke a reaction. And that's supposed
Yeah,
to
but
create
it
better
is a leading
conversation.
question in a way.
Well,
don't you
very
think?
much so. But people are not afraid when I've asked this question to tell me that, no, that's a bullshit question. Why would you ask me that? Just like this one's doing now.
I did.
Eyebrow waggle.
I was like, I don't name my God. I think the Jews have the right idea, and you shouldn't name God. And anything worthy of being God shouldn't have one name. And that's. I did. I had to be all rah about it.
Oh, hell. Did I ever tell you the name of my God? Do we have that conversation?
No.
Oh, shit. It's only fair, I guess.
Oh.
So, I follow a thunder god. And I'll preface this by saying that I believe that, I made a thing, but we're talking about God.
Yeah. We made that thing about like, it's so interesting that there are like two cultures where the thunder god is more powerful than the sun god, because there aren't many cultures where you fear storms more than you fear the sun.
I don't fear the storms. I was a kid in Alabama, and it must have been past midnight, like it is now, way past my bedtime, right?
Way past our bedtime.
And my dad came into my bedroom, like all grinning this goofy grin, and woke me up and was like, "Oh, hey, get up, come outside and see." So he takes me by the
I love
hand.
watching the storms.
He leads me outside, and it wasn't a storm that was passing there. My little house in Alabama, it was by some disused railroad tracks. We thought they were abandoned. There's nothing really there. But that night, this huge freight train came rumbling by. It's the first time I got to see one up close as a little kid.
There's a train behind my house.
Yeah?
Yeah, when I'm in a game and a train goes by, I always pause the game and I go, "Hi, train!" I make everyone
Nice.
in the game go,
Hey,
"Hi, train!"
I ain't pausing the story because it keeps going. It was me and my dad out there by the train, and I remember there was this big white street light, little red crossing light, ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding,
And there was all that power in the dark, surging off to who the fuck knows where. It was gorgeous. And I was like, wow, and my dad's hand on my shoulder, lest I wander too close. But then the real thing happened. Coom. It was a thunderstorm, way off in the distance, heat lightning, but something huge was illuminated, bigger than my child's mind could hold. It was a cumulonimbus cloud.
Cumulonimbus, that's the coolest one.
In northern Alabama at night, and that became my vision of benign power.
I mean, if that's no fucking God, I don't know what goddamn is.
No, I told you I'd tell you my name. I can't really pronounce it very well.
Is it cumulonimbus?
No, you need a storm to pronounce it, or at least a freight train. The name of my God is... but you have to feel the thunder in your own throat.
No, I dig it.
So when you say that you can't name a God, I guess I halfway agree. You need a thunderstorm first.
Yeah. It's like there are certain things only whales can say.
There's certain things that only the storm can say.
I get it. I dig it.
But hey, that's just one face on God, because I think there's so many of the people I talk to, they believe there's that bigger thing out there, that the universe, spirituality, God, Dio.
Yeah.
And Dio is what I happen to call it. But the idea in my head is that we all have a face on the divine that's very personal, that's something we've experienced, and that is how you come to know it. It's as individual as the person. And that's what that question that I ask is designed to provoke.
Well, that was my answer, was that, our experience of the universe is so subjective that we
Yeah.
can only know the totality of the universe through our subjective whole, like our experience of it moment to moment, you know, because our ecstasy is such an innately visceral experience, you know?
Religious ecstasy, huh? Usually I need a drug or two for that.
No, man. Like, but anyway, what I was saying about storms in the sun, you know, you don't fuck with the sun. And in so many cultures, the desert and the sun is, you know, the greatest, you know, expression of the bigness in the universe. For me, it's water. Like getting storms or getting drenched or getting rain on is the closest thing I can think of is to something that completely obliterates the ego.
Was there a moment for you where the storm was real, where the water was there for you?
Well, the most recent one, I went to a confluence, you know, where two bodies of water joined together near my house.
Cool.
And it was a sacred place to the Ho-Chunk, the indigenous people of nearest where I live.
Of your ancestry?
That's a little, not something we're going to talk about on the internet.
Hey, not to worry.
But I was at the confluence, and it was just a downpour. And it was at a particularly fragile time in my own life, so I was just getting drenched. And I just started just let myself kind of go and just be very vulnerable and just in the storm, but kind of have a big wow moment.
You ever see V for Vendetta?
Yeah.
That moment in the rain?
It was kind of like that. And just as the waters met and mingled, had a moment of just letting myself get completely drenched in the storm, and it was beautiful. And that was very a moment of spiritual cleansing and just.
What did you say? Was that the name? What did you say that was the name of your God? I have your interview somewhere. I can't recall.
I don't feel like naming that.
Ah, yeah.
I feel
Whereas
like,
I feel like that's only a token that points towards a feeling so that you can discuss it.
I don't feel like. Man, I don't put labels on things.
I don't believe the labels are sticky. That are very sticky. I think that a child's God is different than a grown-ass woman's, and that your God can change today and tomorrow.
No, change. That is a. Okay, so you mentioned Dio earlier.
Yeah, I did.
Psych. We fibbed. This thing isn't actually about an interview thing where Claire asks people about God. It's actually about a role-playing game.
But it's about both. You know, part of this question I ask, it's part of character creation. I ask people to go to their own confluence, to go to the place, it's part of character gen, before session 0.
Confluence.
To go to their own sacred space.
Things inside things.
And journal about it. It's like a solo role-playing game at first, where you try to think of what's important to you and why. Describe the place. Describe your presence in it. What does it mean to you? Mm-hmm. And then, at session 0, you pass that little journal, that was one-page journal, to the person on your left. Mm-hmm. They read it. They guess at the name of your God. And if they get it right, holy shit, I never knew that. If they get it wrong,
holy shit.
If they get it wrong, then you talk it out like we done. But after that, it goes on to like more of a normal RPG.
How do you get it wrong, though? Like, if they don't think the same thing that you thought?
Well, I guess that the name of your God might be Confluence, and you said, I don't feel like putting a label on it. I got it wrong. So if you do that, the player characters, I call them seekers. Seekers errant in formal settings. But
seekers errant.
Like knights errant, but they're seekers after some greater meaning, some divinity. You make a character that follows the same thing you do, but not literally you. Roll distance is important. Roll distance is important, kids. Don't let it get into your head too much. This is just the game. But you're supposed to band together with these other weirdos that have just gone through the same process as you. You're supposed to become a party. You're supposed to take on whatever you want, whether it's being the full-on superhero thing as followers of these principles, fighting crime in your neighborhood, fighting a corrupt judicial system.
Giving yourself over to the interpretation of another mind is a part of this process. So one might even say that surrender or the joining into other minds is an essential part of the spiritual experience too.
Very much so, and intentionally so. This is supposed to be a process about figuring out what you believe, what you value. I call it the divine, but if you happen to be an atheist, I want you to game here too. I want you to play with us.
So you've just taken a bunch of shit that are part of various, not necessarily ecstatic, but a bunch of different spiritual ideas, like surrender or like Journey with Other Minds,
Or The Storm.
or The Storm, but a bunch of like spiritual concepts of like ways that we practice spirituality and like shoved them into the form of a role-playing game.
That's right. But the important thing about it is that this is my attempt to save the world. It is a role-playing game. It's also my personal holy book, because if there's anything I ever liked about this country, it was the idea that people of different beliefs can come together to solve problems. And that's just supposed to be the model of what I believe America ought to be. It's going to be set in Philly, birthplace of the country. And it happens to be cool for me because Ben Franklin once flew a kite there, so my storms are there as well.
Ooh.
It's going to be a fantasy version of Philly. There's going to be dragons wearing Phillies caps. Yeah, man. If you ever saw American Dragon, Jake Long back in the day, Disney Channel, similar to that. Urban fantasy, but everybody's out. All the dragons and orcs are there. There's going to be trolls as the Delaware Port Authority taking tolls on the Ben Franklin Bridge. It is going to be my jam and my first game that's mine, soup to nuts. I can't wait to write this thing in full.
That's amazing.
Well, it's nerdy, but I'll take amazing.
Imagine this ideal of America as this place of being like about different religions. Because the one thing that's so impactful about the U.S. is it's always had this habit of being very into the idea of a thing while being really bad at actually doing that thing at the same time.
Well, if you can't just hope that something is what it is. You can't let Camelot just be Camelot. And
Can't let Camelot just be...
You can't
talk about another thing that's about ideals while being really bad at actually doing
well,
that
shit,
thing.
that's Pilgrim stuff. That's Puritan stuff. We're the shining
that's
city on the
Pilgrim
hill.
shit, bro.
We were supposed to be the shining city on a hill, but the thing about a city, it requires upkeep. You have to try to make the world better.
A story can't be real, right? Because that's not how stories work. Life is...
Are you so sure about that? I want to make it better. And if there's anything I ever liked about this country, I want it to help it be true.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Well, so am I. I got this new haircut. Oh my God, I love it.
I like your haircut.
Oh man, I tried to match the booth. I write for AAW games, a lot of 5th edition, a lot of Pathfinder type stuff. So hey, if you like my dulcet tones, or if you want to read what I wrote, go to AAW games.
Tones are so dulcet.
Don't worry, I'm gonna hire a voice person. I sound like this, and I'm she/her, right? Obviously, I'm trans.
Yeah, that's how we met, complimenting each other's hair.
It's a good color, right, kids? Anyway, what else do you want to know about me? Because it is late, and I don't know how long this goes. Are we doing this for an hour? Are we here until 2 in the morning?
No, just
all right,
one
what do you
more.
got? What do you got?
So, what's some tech, some idea tech? What is an idea, or an emerging philosophy, or a trend, or a direction? What's something that's happening in gaming right now that's got you hyped? What's something, some emergence or direction that you are so excited about that
It's
has
a demographic sea change.
Yes, tell me about it.
Oh my God, I studied this. I wrote my PhD on a lot of gaming history and brought it specifically into how we play online, how play changes when you point the camera at it.
Ooh.
But when I went to do my first demo, because you're supposed to get demographic information, and I had made a little artifact that was supposed to be interesting and like let you game a little bit different on Twitch. There were so many cool queer kids that signed up. I think there was only one like cis kid that signed up with like the standard issue pronouns, and it was cool. And I just got out of, before we did this, I just got out of like a queers only gaming thing. We were exploring a starship, and it was very alien, very very Farscape. Love that shit. And all the energy that's coming out of not just. Man, I like white guys. They should be able to play the games and have fun, but so should the rest of us. And there are games being produced like, oh God, what am I thinking? Thirsty Sword Lesbians, Women Are Werewolves, things where you're supposed to be a non-binary or a queer kid and figure yourself out. We are the whole premise of role-playing.
Adopted little cousin have this little bean right from my server, and they were showing me all their dice, and they're like, and these are the glitter hearts dice, and I was just like. You know what? We didn't have that in the 90s, but you have it now. And you know what? I'm so glad you do.
You know what it is? It's the power fantasy. It is the basic fantasy of RPGs. You too can wield the word of power, hold aloft the sword of smiting, and it doesn't matter what you are, who you are, how you were born, or what you believe in. The fact is that there's a space for you here too, and you, yes, you can be a hero. That's what I want. And the fact that we're seeing this, the fact that we're seeing this right now, that it isn't just for one type of person, but for all people, that's what role-playing ought to be. And that's what gets me excited.
I can't think of anything better than that to end on. That's fucking rad, and I love it.
Thanks for doing this. This was fun.
Yeah, it was. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Peace and love, friends.
Yeah, thanks for watching.